Da 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 da. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here to share my quick thoughts on the final episode of Gravity Falls titled Weirdmageddon Part 3. So, at the end of Weirdmageddon Part 2, they rescue Mabel from her imprisonment where she was like living this life of fantasy, just like, I'm all blissful and happy, everything's nice. They save her from that, and they head straight to the shack, which is the last place they thought they'd be safe. And sure enough, when they open the door, they find a bunch of people and Grunkle Stan kind of like just staying in there. They find all these people inside their place, and they find out that the shack itself is protected from all of Bill Cipher's weirdness, because remember that one episode where they got the hair of the unicorn? Well, guess what? It became relevant all of a sudden, so whenever anything weird happens, or whenever anything weird comes to the shack, they automatically get either destroyed or just taken out. So they're trying to figure out, what do? Do they stay in the shack or do they fight back? And Mabel and Dipper are like, we gotta fight back. We can't just stay here and go save all those other people. And Stan, throughout this whole thing, he's just like, nah, I don't want to do it. And he's, he has that whole harboring grudge against his brother because they're trying to save his brother, and he's like, everyone wants to think he's the hero, I hate him, whatever, and it'll come full circle, trust me. So they literally turn the shack into a giant robot with a T-Rex arm and like a little grappling arm here, and then that Loch Ness Monster thing from the second episode is on its back. I mean, it was a kick-ass robot, and they have like this really cool throwdown with all of Bill's minions, and they defeat them all, and then they fight Bill himself, which, dude, how many times I gotta say that Bill is one of the best villains I've ever seen in a Disney anything. Disney TV show, Disney movie. He's menacing, he's funny, he's witty, but he also can be very threatening and scary. Like, there are so many scenes in this finale alone where I was like, man, that is some terrifying shit. Bill, you are one tough mofo, man. Like, seriously. Yeah, but the fight between him was really cool. And so they go into his little pyramid thing in the sky and save all the rest of the townsfolk and save Stanford, of course. And they're trying to figure out how do they defeat Bill Cipher. And then Stanford, who knows has the knowledge to destroy the barrier that keeps all of Bill's minions into Gravity Falls, and also how to defeat Cipher, tells them that, that little circle thing that you see just briefly in every opening credit where you see the star, you see the pine tree, ice, the thing on Stan Lee's hat, all that, it finally becomes relevant as he needs all those pieces to come together to defeat, to create something that can defeat Bill. And, they're about to do it, but then Stan Lee just had to go and be the stickler. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Not until you say thank you. And so Stanford oh, fine. Thank you. And then they're holding hands, and then they start bickering, and they break the circle, and all of a sudden Bill's like, hey, guess what? I defeated your robot. And then turns all the people that were a part of the circle into these little flags that you would see being hanged in a gymnasium if you won a championship. So that was actually pretty clever. I thought that was clever. And they trap the pines in this pyramid, and he's about to torture both the Stans, and then the kids are like, nah, come get us. And literally, this is one of those scenes where I said Bill was really scary. He's chasing these kids down a hallway, and he turns into this gigantic pyramid monster with all these hands, and his mouth is like that. He's just like, I'm gonna tear you into little pieces. I was like, holy shit, this guy, he's menacing. Holy crap. Good job, Alex Hirsch. Good job, Alex Hirsch. And so the brothers are kind of talking to each other we gotta save the kids. Those are the only things that matter right now. Got to save the kids. And the only way they could do that is Stanford has to let Bill into his mind to uncover the secrets of how to get out of Gravity Falls so that his Weirdmageddon can spread worldwide. And Stanley's like, no, you gotta let me do it, Stanley. Or Stanford. Damn, I keep getting those two mixed up. You gotta let me do it, Stanford. I gotta do it. And they're just bickering back and forth. We cut back to the kids being chased by Bill, and he finally captures them. And he brings them back to the kids, and oh my god, again, one of those moments, he literally says, I'm just gonna kill one of them just for the fun of it. Which one should I do? Eeny, mini, money, you. And then finally Stanford's like, stop! Okay, Bill, you can go into my mind. And so they're about to do the handshake and all that stuff. He shakes the hand, he goes into Stanford's mind, and it's like blank. He's like, oh, finally, I'm finally back. Oh, this is great. He opens the one door that's in the room, and guess who it turns out to be? That's right, Stan Lee himself. He's just like, hey. It's like, what? You tricked me! And so they just this is another thing that kind of jumped, let me go back a little bit, where when Stanford and Stan Lee were talking to each other, he was saying like how if only my mind had this like plate, because his brain is like protected by a plate. He's like, if only I didn't have that, we could use the memory wiper out, or the thing that they use, that one group that got rid of all the townsfolk's memories used in that one episode. Finally came back, they used it for this one. If we could only use this on my mind, but we can't because of the plate. He's like, let's think. So they switched. Stan Lee became Stanford, and Stanford became Stan Lee, and they used the memory wiper to destroy Bill once and for all. And just seeing him like fighting for his life to stay alive, it kind of reminded me of the scene from Osmosis Jones where the virus fell into the alcohol, and he's just like fighting for like every inch of life he can, and you just see Bill just like, Stan Lee, and then freaking best moment in the entire series probably. Stan Lee just looks straight at Bill and goes boom right in Bill's eye, smashing him into pieces. And then there's a really somber moment where he turns around and he looks at the picture with his family because they're wiping his mind clean. And then boom, done. And then he wakes up finally and he doesn't have any memories of what happened. The town goes back to normal, by the way. I forgot to say that. Town goes back to normal after Bill gets defeated. All of his minions get sucked back into the portal. And Stan Lee finally wakes up and he doesn't have any memories, and they're trying to bring his memories back, so they bring out the book of summer memories and they Deus Ex Machina his memory back. I was okay with this. I was a little irked because I'm like, don't bring his memory back, don't do it, but I could live with it. I honestly could, because I think Stan Lee deserved it, you know? I mean, the series deserved it, because I would hate for him not to remember the kids. I mean, come on. They had such a good relationship. And so they get his memory back. They kind of briefly give resolutions to most of the characters. The only one that really bothered me is that they said that McGucket got his sanity back, which I'm like, oh, come on, don't do that. McGucket was fun without his sanity. Just don't bring that back. He's like, McGucket got his sanity back. He's making millions of dollars. I'm like, no. You don't need that. You don't need that. And they finally have the Pines twins' birthday party, which is a nice little way of trying to like celebrating the end of an era. They become teenagers now, they head off. And Stanford says, hey, you know, even though Bill is gone, I'm sensing a lot of anomalies around the world. You think he's still up for palling around with your brother? I want you to come with me. Finally giving some resolution to that one story where they wanted to go around the world and solve mysteries, pick up on hot chicks. It was really touching. I was glad that they finally addressed that one thing. And they're deciding to shut down the Mystery Shack. And then Seuss, who's been in love with the shack ever since he started working there, is like, you monsters! How dare you, dude? This is a part of the Gravity Falls. You can't shut this down. It means so much to me. And you kind of sense, like, yes, it does mean a lot to Seuss. He loves that place. More or less, he loves it because he loves Grunkle Stan, because he looks to him as a father figure and all that stuff. And then Stan Lee decides, you know what, you're right, we shouldn't shut it down. Instead, we should put it under new management. Takes his hat off, puts it on Seuss, and you see Seuss is just like, I get to run this place? He's like, yes, you've earned it. And again, going back to that whole thing of Seuss looking up to Stan as his father, it's kind of like that whole, like, passing the torch to his son. He's just like, I'm proud of you, son. Now you get to run this place yourself. And it's really nice. And so, ending the whole thing, the kids are at the bus stop with the rest of the remaining main characters, and they're about to like go off back to California, and they're saying their final goodbyes, which was really touching to see. And just seeing Dipper talking to Wendy one last time, and she gives him a letter saying, hey, if you ever miss Gravity Falls, read this. I'm like, oh, I hope they show it. They do show it. And I won't say what it is, just in case if you guys want to see it for yourself, but it's very fitting. And they even have this whole emotional scene with Waddles where she's like, I can't bring you to California, Mom and Dad won't let me. And then, you know, they go they're about to head out. Waddles grabs her skirt. And then finally, Stanley's like, okay, hey, I had to deal with them the entire summer. You're gonna take him and bring him with you, and your parents are gonna have to deal with them. And the bus driver's like, sir, we can't bring animals in here. He pulls out a golden brass knuckle, and then his brother shows him his gun. I'm like, wow, threatening somebody in a Disney show? Wow, I never thought that day would ever come. So they let the pig go, and they're all heading away, and they kind of have this picture montage at the end, and that's pretty much the last episode. It's really touching. Little small details here and there I want to put up too. So, you know those two cops, the black guy, the short black guy, and the tall guy named Durley? They're a thing. The aftermath where the mayor's like, hey, we're just not gonna address all the weirdness that happens. If anyone ever addresses it, you're gonna say this phrase in the episode. I forgot what it was. And then the cops are like, and if you ever bring it up, we'll tase you. He's like, yeah, we have all the power. And then they look at each other and they grab each other's faces like, and love. See? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Not no Cora saw me like, oh, maybe they were. No. It has to be established. And they did it. They did it. They actually said they were in love. Yes. Well played, well played. The animation, especially during the fight scenes, were really well handled. The only issue I had is that some of the scenes did feel a bit rough cut-ish. Like it wasn't fully animated to like Gravity Falls standards, and considering that they kind of had to fast track this finale because they decided to finally end it. That could be one of the reasons why, maybe not, I don't know. But some of the animation did look vastly different when compared to other Gravity Falls animation. Just saying. It's not bad, it's just could have been better. The fighting and the like action sequences were some of the most creative fight scenes I've seen in the show so far. And I was saying in my live chat, which I will link in the description, you guys can watch it if you want the full live chat. The fight scenes are just so creative. I loved it. It was really entertaining. Lyndon Blandon's nowhere to be seen in the final episode, which is kind of weird because he disappeared and we thought, okay, maybe he's going to come back. Hell, even Lutoons had this theory where it's him that put up the bubble to keep Bill from escaping. So why couldn't he pop up back in the final episode? I was a little disappointed by that. What else? Everything just had such great resolution. This final episode resolved all important threads. It fixed the relationship between the Stanley twins, or keep saying Stanley twins, the Stan twins. Their relationship finally comes full circle and they're brothers again. They're bonding with each other. The town is back to normal. Seuss finally gets to own and run the Mystery Shack. Wendy's still freaking awesome. And the twins go back to, apparently they live in Piedmont, which is a wink at Alex Hirsch because guess what? Him and his sister are from, correct, Piedmont. Or Piedmont, it's Piedmont. Because he based the show basically on him and his sister, so that's why. Oh! There is something like in the when they're doing like the picture montage with all the credits, there's a scene where you see two of the last clone dippers, 3 and 4, in a tent just like kind of like cooking some stuff. And I was like, yes, finally they addressed it, because at the end of the end of the clone episodes, or the clone episode, where they were trying to get Ravi. They're trying to get Ravi away from Wendy, and so what they decide is they're gonna send 2 of the clones to steal his bike, and then he'll chase after them. And I was like, whatever happened to those 2? Are they still around? Are they still alive? How come they didn't go back to the Mystery Shack? Did they just decide to be their own characters and go on their own adventures? It's so interesting. And to see them in like a picture in the final moments of the series, I was like, oh, they finally addressed it. They're still alive. And it's like raining. They're under a tent. I'm like, oh, because if they get wet, they're kaput. They're gone for life. So I was very happy they addressed that. Overall, as you can tell, sorry I went on a ramble. I kind of went into real detail here. I loved how the final episode ended. It's a very, very fitting ending to an overall amazing series. And although I am heartbroken that it's gone, I'm happy for the time that it gave us. You know, in a day and age where people try to milk something until there's nothing left in it, this show and the creator decided, hey, I told the story as best as I could, and I think it deserves a fitting ending. And I praise Alex Hirsch, really, for giving us an amazing show, giving us an amazing experience, and letting us follow such wonderful and colorful characters. From the bottom of my heart, Alex Hirsch. If you ever see this video, which I'm pretty sure you're not, I want to thank you. I really do. And I cannot wait to see what show you make for Fox. I'm really excited to see what you're gonna do. And finally, because that channel has always been like Seth MacFarlane Central. He has like, what, 4 shows on that network? We need more talent on there. So I'm happy that you're moving to Fox and creating a show. You definitely would fit in prime time. Like, your humor is prime time material. And considering that you're a fan of The Simpsons, makes so much sense. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Weirdmageddon Part 3. I did go into full detail. I apologize. Don't worry. I'll put a spoiler warning in the title so that if you guys don't want any spoilers, don't worry about it. What did you guys think of Weirdmageddon Part 3? If you have already seen it, did you love it as much as I did? Or did you think it was really underwhelming and it just didn't give you what you wanted to see for the final episode of Gravity Falls? And let me know, what is your favorite episode of Gravity Falls? Comment below, let me know. Stay tuned tomorrow for my next anime review, and I have a bunch of videos coming your way. Until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel and be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm telling you about the second, the mystery known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.